They did what with caviar? 7-Up used to be an antidepressant? Almonds had to be made less poisonous for human consumption? Popular foods change for all kinds of crazy reasons. I'm Mike with List 25, and here are 25 foods that have changed over time. Then versus now. 25. Caviar schmaviar. Caviar wasn't always the swanky treat you think it is. People didn't like these salty fish eggs in the US until the late 19th and early 20th centuries, a time known as the Gilded Age. It had been popular in other places for a long time before, but caviar took a while to catch on stateside. In fact, it used to be eaten in bars as a free snack because it made you thirsty. 24. Before the Ice Age. How many frogs do you want in your drink? That's a bizarre question you might be asked in Russia before people worked out that ice kept your beverage cold. Yes, they used frogs instead of ice cubes. It makes sense in a weird way because frogs are cold-blooded, but isn't Russia a cold country with lots of ice and snow? I mean, hello? 23. Skippy peanut butter. Skippy's creamy peanut butter is made with salt, sugar, and of course, peanuts. Or rather, it was. Today, it also contains hydrogenated vegetable oils, which basically means there's an added hydrogen. Tasty. Some consumers aren't impressed with the newer version of the product, stating it's not thick enough, plus that it's gritty. Not what you want with your PB&J. Also, it used to come in a glass jar, and now it's plastic. 22. Watermelons were really difficult to eat. Thousands of years ago, watermelons were eaten, but probably not enjoyed. How come? Well, they looked different, like something from Gremlins. Also, they had a bitter taste. People only consumed them for the water content. It isn't known when exactly watermelons got a makeover, but when they did, it was bye-bye to the tough shell and nasty taste, and hello ripeness and sweetness. 21. Don't have a cow. Cows are a source of many delicious foods, but lots of burgers doesn't mean lots of cows. Approximately 27 billion pounds of beef come out of the USA every year, as reported in 2023, yet a story from the same year said US herds were at their lowest levels since the early 60s. What happens if the number dips lower? Well, maybe Bart Simpson is right. We shouldn't have a cow. 20. McDonald's fries. McDonald's has been the same since forever, hasn't it? Actually, it hasn't. Did you know they used to make their fries with beef tallow? By the way, tallow is rendered animal fat. It sounds less appetizing when you put it like that, so maybe it's for the best. Tallow was dropped from the McDonald's fries recipe in the 90s. Cow fat is out, but sodium acid pyrophosphate is in. Ignore the long name. This is an additive that keeps your fries looking golden and delicious. 19. The Twinkie situation. Did you know Twinkies changed flavor because of World War II? They've been around since 1930, but when war broke out in 1939, it affected food supplies such as bananas. Because Twinkies contain banana cream filling, something had to change. So they went from banana to vanilla, which was easier to get. Now, you can actually buy both flavors. 18. The color of carrots. A carrot just isn't a carrot unless it's orange. Wrong. The nutrient beta-carotene is what makes carrots orange, but back in history, they didn't have so much. You'd only see white or purple carrots a few hundred years ago. The carrot we know today was grown between the 16th and 18th centuries in the Netherlands and was called the long orange. There were orange carrots previously, but they weren't the best known variety. Can you imagine Bugs Bunny holding a purple carrot? It's a strange and slightly nightmarish image. 17. Massive turkeys. Your Christmas lunch has gotten bigger over the years. And I mean bigger. Or for us Americans, Thanksgiving. Reports state that the Tasty Bird is over double the size it was around a century ago. Why? It's because they're farmed using selective breeding. Let's just hope the turkeys don't grow too big because they may try and stuff us. Hey guys, just jumping in here real quick to tell you some exciting news. You know how you love watching our videos for amazing facts? Well, what if I told you that you could also have 500 amazing facts in the palm of your hand? That's right, we wrote a book. This one right here. What the facts are you talking about? And you can order it right now and have List 25 right in your library or on your coffee table or wherever it is you keep your books. It's available right now on Amazon, so click the link in the description and grab yourself and friends and family a copy today. 16. Crystal Pepsi. Coca-Cola and Pepsi have been fighting the battle of soft drinks for decades. In 1992, Pepsi decided to make their product look crystal clear. The short-lived Crystal Pepsi was supposed to be a healthier option, containing less calories. They got the transparent color through adding cornstarch rather than caramel coloring, but it wasn't popular. Crystal Pepsi didn't even make it through the year, and by the middle of the 90s, it was a ghost. I miss it. Let me know in the comments below if you had tried Crystal Pepsi. 15. Creme Egg. Different companies produce it around the world, but the Creme Egg is unmistakable. A little chocolate egg with delicious sugary goop inside. Wouldn't have put it that way. It hasn't always been the same though. Cadbury's in the UK wanted to switch things up in 2015 by changing the egg from dairy milk chocolate to what's called a basic cocoa mix. The company said the move was approved in taste tests, however the luxurious dairy milk taste is missed by some fans. Anyway, you still get the goop and that's what's important. God, still wouldn't put it that way. 14. 7-Up Surprise. 7-Up used to be a medicine? It definitely did. Plus, it used to have a much catchier name. Bib label lithiated lemon lime soda. If you think the word lithiated sounds a little funky, well then you'd be right. Lithium citrate was originally included in the drink back in 1929. This basically meant you drank 7-Up as an antidepressant. It also settled your stomach, which was kind of a bonus. In 1948, it became the 7-Up we enjoy today. Make 7-Up yours. 13. Eggy eggplants. Remember when you first heard about the eggplant and then you saw one, you were like, that does not look like an egg? Well, the truth is that eggplants used to look just like eggs. Go back to the 1600s and you would see that they were the right size and shape to match the name. An alternative name for them was the mad apple. They called them that because of a rumor linked to mental health issues. These mad apples were first used for decoration. People had no idea you could pop one in your mouth. I prefer chicken parm over eggplant parm. 12. Fish ketchup. Ketchup goes great with fish, but did you know it was actually made from little fishies hundreds of years ago? In the Tonkin region, now part of Vietnam, you could get ketchup, Chinese for a brine of pickled fish. Colonization led to the sauce becoming popular around the world. Tomatoes were used for ketchup in the early 19th century, and Heinz cashed in with their version in 1876, which was originally called catsup. That is a fantastic Simpsons episode. Ketchup? Catsup.
Ketchup? Ketchup.
How do you spell ketchup, with a C or a K? Let me know in the comments below. 11. Airline food. What's the deal with airline food? When you travel by air, you can sometimes have a bad time through turbulence, and airline food is seen as equally bad by some. It's all so different from the 60s when American Airlines served what was called a Royal Coachman menu. You could kind of have a restaurant-type experience on the plane, something that's only connected with first class today. Is a 3-course meal the best idea when you're thousands of feet up? Probably not, but that isn't the reason things changed. Airline food changed for financial reasons. Shocking. Plus greater regulation and safety issues with things such as, knives. 10. Sausage at Papa John's. Papa John himself, John Schnatter, got a surprise when he literally saw how the sausage was made for some of his restaurants. Suppliers were using head meat for the toppings. And if you're wondering what head meat is, it's exactly what it sounds like. Yep, cow face had been known to find its way into your pizza. Good for Hannibal Lecter, not so good for Papa John. Schnatter wanted the recipe changed so stuff like cheeks and even hooves didn't get into the mix. 9. Liquid chocolate. Hot chocolate always hits the spot, but there was a time when all chocolate was in liquid form. Before we ate chocolate, we drank it. This was something people have been doing since the time of the Olmecs, between 1600 and 350 BCE, approximately. Can you believe it took until 1847 for someone to create a solid version? Up to that time, chocolate was a bitter-tasting beverage and more of a specialist thing. We have Fry & Sons from Great Britain to thank for giving us edible chocolate. This recipe blended cocoa powder with cocoa butter and, of course, sugar. 8. Trix Switch. In 2015 and 2016, reports came in that Trix cereal would no longer feature blue and green pieces. The change happened due to the company deciding not to use artificial coloring. Were customers happy? You bet your shiny spoon they weren't. By 2017, the artificial kind was resurrected like a crunchy Jesus. Households were happy to have their favorite neon-colored cereal back, though the healthy option is still available. Trix has also switched between fruit and ball shapes over the years. Well, they're for kids. As adults, you just see the balls. You don't see the fun fruit shapes. Just happens when you grow up. It's science. 7. Almonds and cyanide. Almonds were super poisonous? Well, the shocking answer is yes, and they're potentially dangerous today because they contain cyanide. Almonds you buy in stores are safe, but have a reported 25 milligrams of cyanide in every kilo. So you shouldn't eat mountains of them, and you need to be extra cautious around children. The reason we have delicious almonds that are safe to eat today is through the way they're farmed. Be very careful not to eat wild almonds though. 6. Holey Swiss cheese. There's an old expression about something having more holes than a Swiss cheese. Well, it turns out Swiss cheese isn't as holy as it used to be. It has holes because of bacteria and carbon dioxide. Hay particles also create the holes. Why are there fewer holes now? Our Swiss cheese is made using a smoother process, which appears to keep the hay out and the goodness in. This has led to a much more solid cheese over the decades. 5. Mince baby pies. Mincemeat pies are enjoyed in the UK during Christmas time. Today, they fit in the palm of your hand. But it wasn't always that way. They were enormous, and they weren't only for Christmas. Reports describe some pies weighing 20 pounds. Even weirder is the fact that some of them resembled babies in cribs. Mince pies were meat-based before they became sweet and fruity. Also, the pastry was supposed to be a disposable casing for the meaty contents. People only started eating the pastry later. 4. Marshmallows were cough remedies. Back in ancient Egypt, they didn't toast marshmallows, they used them as medicine. The marshmallow itself comes from the plant Althea officinalis, or mallow plant. You found it on marshland, hence the name. Pulp from the plant was boiled with honey for a sweet and effective way of soothing your throat. It was more like a syrup than a spongy treat we've loved for generations. In the 1920s, a gelatin-based version was publicized by the Girl Scouts, and a legend was born. 3. Taco Bell cheese. For some consumers, cheese at Taco Bell looked unusually yellow. There's a reason for that, of course. The chain used an artificial coloring called yellow number 6. There are concerns about these kinds of products, with some colorings being potentially linked to cancer. That and other worries led to companies wanting to make their food in a more natural way. Taco Bell stopped using yellow number 6 in 2015, meaning their cheese was paler and their customers happier. 2. The original idea behind wedding cake. You used to hit your bride in the head with it? In Roman times, this was the tradition. Thankfully, it wasn't a great heavy cake, but a biscuit. So why did they do this? The idea is that it would bring good luck and make the bride fertile. The happy couple then enjoyed the cake while guests were welcome to the crumbs. Good job catering has moved. Oh, thank God catering has moved on since then. 1. Gatorade. Remember the days when Gatorade came in a glass bottle? This was before the late 90s when they switched to plastic. But it wasn't just the outside that was different. The ingredients became a lot more complicated. What started as a handful of stuff like sugar and lemon juice turned into a whole list of items, such as sodium citrate, caramel color, and red 40. Something to think about the next time you're looking for an energy boost. And that's it for our rundown of foods that have changed over time. What about the foods we just don't see anymore? Check out our video right here on some tasty but hard to find treats, or I'll see you soon for a fresh list, and let me know in the comments below what foods you enjoyed over the years have changed. Which ones do you miss? Which ones do you bring back? They have to still exist, they just changed. Which old recipes, I guess, would you bring back? Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you next time.